Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Well, first I'd like to recognise the Yagra and Turrbal people, elders past, present and future. Oh, sorry, how's it doing? We're friends here. It's a huge stage, and how can I possibly find her on this stage? Okay, so, okay, alright, so I might start, sorry. Well, when I was named Blind Australian of the Year in 2021, it came a moment in time when Australia, Queensland, and indeed Brisbane, was changing. Change, which has directly improved the lives of all of us here today. Today is better for these changes. And being named Blind Australian of the Year has enabled me to take advantage of many of these changes. Change, at the last federal election, gave my agenda a significant boost. In his victory speech earlier this year, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese explained that his government did not want to leave people behind. He said, quote, "We should always look after the disadvantaged, the vulnerable, but also no one left behind, because we always should support aspiration and opportunity," end quote there. Now, realising aspiration and opportunity requires equality of education and of work. Education in work. Well, in regards to that, my area of research is the education sector. So, Federal Education Minister Clare has announced a reset of the government and university relations. It was down at Universities of Australia in Canberra. It was an amazing speech. It was great to be there. Now, it's obviously impossible to study, to work, and to live without appropriate government support. Now, when the NDIS became law in 2013, it was looking pretty promising. And sadly, later in 2013, until very recently, there's been some unfortunate decisions which have left persons with disabilities without resources or funding, but it wasn't appropriate. Now, the new Minister Bill Shorten, has started to turn things around. Now, part of this reform agenda, the part that really excites me, is including persons with disabilities on the board that governs the NDIS. Its practice, its policy, and it's also in law. Law reforms to the NDIS Act has put this representative approach, the participatory dynamic, if you're in the CRPD land, into practice, into the law. Now, it's also change is also on the agenda at the Queensland and Brisbane level. The Brisbane Paralympics coming to in 2032 has helped us all of us. Now, one of the efforts that benefits us all is trying to create a more inclusive city. Now, I used to be a Paralympian, so I'm naturally excited by the Paralympics coming to Brisbane. But even if you are indifferent to sport, the Games will impact upon everyone. Everyone with a disability living in this city, this state, and this country. And because all games venues and related infrastructure needs to meet the Paralympic standards. Now, government has committed, when it comes to the Games, will be carbon neutral and cost neutral. Now, that requires that building upgrades from now, developments now, going forward and trying to get Games ready. So inclusion is on the agenda. It's on the agenda within a paradigm governed by the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities sets out new norms of inclusion, which requires all government at all levels to effectively engage with persons with disabilities. That level of participation is not just, hey, turn up, consultation, here's a muffin. Muffin's great, don't get me wrong. But it's about real participation. I've used the honour of Blind Australian of the Year to be engaged in. We all want inclusion. We all want change. Change is what I do for a living. I'm an associate professor at the TC Burns School of Law, but at the moment I'm employed as an Australian Research Council Future Fellow. My Future Fellowship will change how universities approach disability. I believe university sector must embrace true disability equality. And I believe persons with disabilities should be present and supported at all levels across education, as undergrad, through to RHD, PhD, as staff, through the lowest level up to Vice Chancellor, as research and innovation, as targets of that research, but also doing that research. I want universities, their governing bodies, governments, all to become disability champions of change. As being Blind Australian of the Year, it's amplified my voice. I've had the privilege of working with a number of Vice Chancellors across the country, industry groups, and also formed a national disability steering group called Universities Enable. Universities Enable aims to enable the university sector to help the leaders to become disability champions of change. We're doing this through supporting leadership and develop governance structures similar to that which I proposed and we've adopted at the University of Queensland, called the Disability Inclusion Group. Now, the Disability Inclusion Group has direct access to our leadership team, and we also have a number of other groups there that sit on a Senate subcommittee for equity, diversity and inclusion, such as the Age Friendly University. Now, we've become market leaders in education and employment. Also, our infrastructure is getting better as we go. Now, in addition to that, connected to my Blind Australian of the Year, I was invited by a provost of Universitas 21, which is a consortium of 28 leading universities globally, to set up a disability group in that. Now, part of that will be my mate from Auckland University, who's the dean, who's also blind. Now, and also related to government, I've had the privilege of meeting Minister Clare a number of times. He used me in one of his speeches as an example. Now, I've got to say, this is not normal. This level of access is not normal. But this is becoming normal. I believe now, inclusion, they want to hear from us. You cannot have a Paralympic committee unless you have people with disabilities on that committee. If you have a group brainstorming for disability inclusion, whether it's a train station or whether it's an airport, you need persons with disabilities on it. If it's about disability, you need people with disability. That's expected by the Paralympic Vision. It's expected by the new Disability Human Rights Commission. This is an opportunity for all of us. Now, I rant a bit because I'm a professor, but I want to give you a take-home message. This is my takeaway. What you can apply for yourself, a takeaway that can help change your life, a takeaway that also can help you change society. Now, leaders in government and in industry are pressured to hear from people with disability. Smart leaders don't want to waste their time. They will pick who they hear from. So when you're in the room from them, many leaders are genuinely interested to look for opportunities that they can work with to maximize this opportunity for you. Work out what is your personal vision, what do you believe in, then target those in power who have visions, beliefs that are similar to your own. If it is politicians, for example, a place to start, read their first speeches to Parliament ever. Look at the history. What do they really believe in? What are they there for? And then find those who believe what you believe in. Then when you meet them, start with why. Why do you believe in it? And then show how the solution you have, your solution, will help you achieve your vision, but also their vision. Offer up a solution that can work. Now, through this process, you might have 99 conversations, but that 100th can end up with you having the opportunity to change your life and to change the lives of others. Remember, good leaders seek to become, and I'll quote, skilled harvesters of good ideas, quote. And of course, that's a quote from our former Prime Minister, Paul Keating. I want to close by saying, we are in a community which has been denied education. We've been denied work and a number of other equalities across our lives. We have been controlled for much of our lives, but there is now a new agenda, a new norm which can help turn things around. We are in a unique moment. I invite you to join with me, become a change maker. I invite you to believe, build a dream, and start making your dream a reality come true. Now, thank you.